So for those of you who didn't see, a little bit ago, we actually got the announcement of The Mandalorian and Grogu not only being a movie, but a release date and a couple of images on it. I actually talked about all my thoughts and opinions on this, gave a little bit about how I think the plot is going to go, and of course my overall excitement about this. Unfortunately, I just forgot to upload the video. So yeah, I'm here today to upload it a little bit later, but we're still going to be talking about my plot details and everything that I think that's awesome. That could obviously happen in this movie. Again, the camera's a little worse, the mic's a little worse. It was on all my older stuff. But yeah, it should still be pretty cool because it's my sexy face. So I guess without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So I think every Star Wars fan really just woke up to an extreme amount of news that is just so unexpected. And for those of you who don't know what I'm actually talking about, it's the recent confirmation by Disney that the Mandalorian TV series will be getting turned into a movie. Now, this has confused a lot of people because we did know that the kind of Mandalorian-like group of TV shows would be getting turned into a movie directed by Dave Filoni. We didn't know that not only would we be receiving that, but we'd also be receiving what looks to be the first one to that, and that the Dave Filoni movie is probably going to be somewhat of like a sequel to this new movie, which is going to be called The Mandalorian and Grogu. Disney did put out a thing saying The Mandalorian and Grogu are headed to the big screen. Directed by Jon Favreau and produced by Dave Filoni and produced by Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy, and Dave Filoni, sorry. The Mandalorian and Grogu will go into production later this year. This is the way. So again, this is really interesting because I did not expect this at all. I thought we were going to get a Mandalorian season 4. We were going to get a, potentially something else, but mainly just the Mandalorian season 4, and then we will get, of course, the Dave Filoni, I don't even know what they're going to be calling that at this point. Heir to the Empire, I think, is the rumored title. It's probably not going to actually be called that, but it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. The other thing we did get confirmed, though, is that Ahsoka is getting a second season as well, which is, again, really interesting. So I think a lot of people thought they weren't going to do a second season, and that main plot point of the second season would maybe be the movie now of course, the Empire somewhat returning. Obviously, now with Ahsoka Season 2 coming out and The Mandalorian Season 4 not being a thing and we're getting a Mandalorian movie, it's going to be funny how this is all going to be wrapped into the Heir to the Empire movie that Dave Filoni is, of course, making. Now, what's actually really interesting about this, and I actually do believe this is a great idea because, let's be honest here, Star Wars is better when it is on the screen. If we do look at the Star Wars live action shows, you obviously got The Mandalorian, which is the first 2 seasons of peak Star Wars, right? Then you got Boba Fett, and other than the Mandalorian stuff, it's pretty crap. You got the Obi-Wan series, which seemed very under budget with a lot of cringe things. That was a pretty average show. The Ahsoka show, which a lot of people think is average, I actually quite enjoyed it, if I'm being completely honest. And of course, the Andor show, which I've just never really been able to get into, even though I know a lot of people actually do really like it. Again, there's not a whole lot of positives out of anything I just really said other than like The Mandalorian and Andor for a lot of people. Star Wars belongs on the screen, and other than episode 8 and 9, and maybe episode 2, depending on who you ask, there's a lot of great Star Wars movies, and even under Disney, right, they still started off well with episode 7 and Rogue One, and even I thought Solo was actually pretty decent. They just unfortunately decided to present cancer on a stick with episode 8 and 9. So obviously, I still think this is a great idea that we're getting this Mandalorian movie. You know, they did everything in the show they really could have, and I think with the movie, we're going to very much return to the Season 1, Season 2 format of bounty hunting. I wouldn't be surprised now that Mandalore is officially under the rule of the Mandalorians again, that we know because the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, is working for the New Republic. I wouldn't be surprised if there's this mission that he potentially, of course, has to take, where this movie is solely, mainly focused on. Obviously, for it to be a movie, I think they must have an extremely good idea out there. If we actually kind of think about it, Season 2 could have almost kind of been a movie, finding, of course, Grogu's, the Mando trying to find Grogu's, kind, aka the Jedi, him stumbling across Tatooine and Boba Fett, him then going to Ahsoka, of course, and, reaching out for guidance from her. Then, of course, him getting into trouble, Grogu getting taken away, and, of course, the ending, we know, Luke ends up saving Grogu. Even though that did work really well as a season of a show, that low-key could have almost been a movie too. Would have worked really well as a movie, in my opinion. So I do really wonder, well, what is this, Mandalorian movie going to be about? Again, I heard a theory out there which is pretty interesting, is that Boba Fett might actually have something to do with this movie, and potentially Boba Fett finds out that Mace Windu, the guy who killed his dad, might potentially be alive somewhere out there. Again, I don't believe they should bring Mace Windu back, but it'd be an interesting plot if Boba Fett went and hired Mando and offered him a ton of money to go and search out for Mace Windu. And the story, this movie is obviously maybe Mandalorian going and searching for clues for Mace Windu, potentially coming across Luke to see if he knows anything. Again, I'm not necessarily too sure if I like that story a whole lot. It does sound kind of cool, but I still prefer Mace to maybe be dead. I just saw that theory and rumor online. As far as the speculation of the story, I have legitimately no clue. I do think it would be cool though if it does revolve around a bounty hunting mission that, of course, takes the Mandalorian and Grogu across many different planets and galaxies even, obviously galaxies, it's just one galaxy far, far away, really. Just taking him to all the different type of planets to kind of, find the truth, find out what's happening, find where his target is, or find what the target is, whether it's a person or maybe it's an item or something like that. That'd be, of course, a pretty interesting thing. It's going to be really cool to see how they go with this. We did, of course, have some concept art where they showed us of Mando and Grogu just storming out of a exploding ship. We don't really know a whole lot of what's going on there. We just see Grogu out here breathing in space. But yeah, this is going to be really interesting. I feel like however this movie goes might still have something to do with Dave Filoni's movie. But I really do think Ahsoka Season 2 will be the thing that leads into Dave Filoni's movie more than this one. We might get some mentions and an end credit scene that has something to do with Dave Filoni's movie. I'm not exactly too sure, but it's going to be really interesting to see how this, of course, does go. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment what you guys think down below about this new Mandalorian movie that we, of course, are getting. I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my sports channel, my IRL/long channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.